Chapter 16, Adaptive Immunity. In this chapter, we're going to be covering an overview of adaptive immunity, elements of adaptive immunity, preparation for an adaptive immune response, cell-mediated immune responses, humoral immune responses, and types of acquired immunity. Let's jump right into our first topic, an overview of adaptive immunity. In this topic, you will need to describe 5 distinctive attributes of adaptive immunity, list 2 basic types of white blood cells involved in adaptive immunity, and list 2 basic divisions of adaptive immunity and describe their targets. So, adaptive immunity is the body's ability to recognize and then mount a defense against distinct invaders and their products. So, this distinct invaders differentiates the adaptive immune response to the innate immune response. The innate immune response attacks specific paths, whereas the adaptive immunity arises when we're exposed to specific pathogens. So the characteristics of the adaptive immune response is its specificity. It's against just one invader. Actually, it's against specific antigens. We'll talk about what an antigen is later. Inducibility. In other words, it's not there when you're born. You have to be exposed to that antigen. Clonability. We'll talk more about that as we go on too. But you have specific cells dividing and making clones of themselves in response to specific antigens. Also, unresponsiveness to self-antigens. In other words, you don't want your adaptive immune system attacking you. That's very bad. And then memory. The body remembers that specific invader. So, as a reminder of basically all of the white blood cells, all of the immune blood cells that we're involved with, lymphoid cells, lymphocytes, are involved in adaptive immunity. Specifically, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. We have a tendency to call them B cells and T cells. B cells are involved in what we call the humoral response. In other words, they produce antibodies that float around in the blood. T lymphocytes are involved in cell-specific adaptive immunity. We'll be talking more about what they do, but in overview, T lymphocytes regulate other lymphocytes. They act like natural killer cells. They go around looking for cells that are presenting their specific antigen, and they suppress the immune system. You don't want your immune response to run rampant. You've got to have a way of turning it off when the danger is over. So that's it for the overview. Here is a reminder of what you need to get from this topic.